Imagine that you are at the peak of your career. All of your dreams are coming true. But the next day you wake up and it turns out it is all a dream.
No! God, please, no! No! No!
Yeah, that would be frustrating. Hello, and welcome back to Every Recap Ever. Today we are seeing a Russian sci-fi movie called A Man from Nowhere. As usual, subscribe to our channel and let's get started. In the year 1960, the space company director Vladimir and astronaut Kim stood before the space rocket. Kim is going to take off tomorrow and they are having a little chat before the big day. The director gives his own watch as a gift to Kim. It's going to be a big achievement for the Soviet nation. Kim goes to his base and quickly calls his girlfriend Dasha. He just wants to hear her voice before the takeoff. She is a little worried about him, but he reassures her. He even comes up with some wise words like, "If you don't take risks, you'll never reach your destination." After the call, he starts writing a letter of his final words if something goes south. Some ink accidentally gets spilled on his astronaut ID. The big day comes and the rocket takes off. The detachment phase completes and he successfully reaches the outer orbit. Everything seems fine, however out of nowhere, some small asteroids hit the spaceship. System goes out of control and Kim quickly evacuates in the escape pod. His pod goes with high speed towards Earth. He is pretty sure he's gonna die. Kim even remembers Dasha and her face before the impact. He regains consciousness and finds himself in the hospital. He gets greeted by the Dr. Peter and two nurses. Kim doesn't remember much about what happened. He is having a partial memory loss and he only knows his name currently. Doctor informs him that he's in a closed facility and he will go to rehabilitation soon to recover his health and memories. Later, he starts his rehab and slowly but steadily manages to regain his strength. He keeps wondering about why he can't see the outside world or why every window is blocked. The doctor tries to jog his memory by giving him the watch and asking some questions related to space. He somewhat remembers his days in the Soviet. At night, he sees one of the nurses eating a burger.
Cheeseburgers.
He also sees a cigarette packet and a can of Coke in the dustbin. He finally realizes that he has indeed somehow landed in America and the people here are trying to get information from him. The next day, he asks one of the doctors for his ID as he remembers spilling some ink on it. However, the ID they give him has no mark of ink. That night, he steals a medical knife and opens the bathroom window. He climbs out of the building and escapes the facility. After running for a while in the city, he sees a woman speaking Russian. He asks her for help. However, she thinks he is some kind of stalker and chases him. He wakes up in a medical store, where a girl named Anna works part-time. While looking around, he sees the calendar dated to 2023. This shocks him totally as he realizes he has somehow traveled in the future. He finds himself standing in the city of Moscow from 2023. The next day, Anna sees him sitting outside the medical store and asks him to go home. However, he doesn't have any home in this timeline. The only thing he has is his ID dating back to 1934. This initially shocks Anna. According to the ID, he must be 89 years old. With no other choice, she takes him to her house where she stays with her little brother, Arkasha. He is a total nerd. The guy hasn't touched grass for years. Anna tells everything about Kim to him. Arkasha is skeptical for a bit and thinks the government might be involved in this. He even searches on the internet to find out about him, but no luck unfortunately. Meanwhile, Kim gets some flashbacks of Dasha and where she used to live. He quickly goes with Anna to the place. While Anna is waiting in the car, he goes to her door. Some random girl opens the door. He asks about Dasha and she calls him inside. He gets the flashbacks of visiting this house in the past, and he finally sees Dasha. Apparently, she looks exactly the same. She is supposed to be at least in her 80s, but the Dasha in front of him is still young. For some reason, she doesn't remember him. He is a little shocked seeing her and just runs outside. Oh, and apparently Dasha is auditioning for some movie. Kim goes back with Anna to her house and explains everything to her. He even searches online for the incidents that happened during the space mission to get some clue. Anna and Arkasha start having a conversation that Kim might be suffering from some mental illness. Later, Kim decides to go back to the closed facility to find some answers. However, the place is in a mess and there are no signs of the facility.
What?
Anna now is fully convinced that something is wrong with Kim's mental health. He remembers hiding the knife near the toilet window and shows it to Anna. Suddenly, they see someone making graffiti on the wall and Kim runs behind him. However, he is just a stray man who loves making graffiti and doesn't know anything about the place. They then go to Dasha's place. Apparently no one is at home and Dasha has accidentally left the door open. They search the place for a while and find a picture album. There Kim sees the picture of him with Dasha. Suddenly both Dasha return home and Kim and Anna quickly hide in the wardrobe. Dasha doesn't suspect a thing and gets ready for her movie shoot. Suddenly she utters the same sentence, that if you don't take risks, you'll never reach your destination. This shocks Kim. How does she remember this sentence if she doesn't remember Kim? Later, at the cafe, Anna is unable to comprehend what is exactly happening here. So was I when I was watching the movie, but stick with me, it will make sense. Anna saw the knife which Kim mentioned, which means he is not lying. But where did the facility go? Kim then sees one of the nurses from before in the cafe. She runs away seeing him and the chase starts. After running for a while, someone shoots her and eliminates her. Kim and Anna see her body, take her phone and run away from the scene. Anna's car gets broken down, so they go into the subway station to take the train home. Suddenly a mysterious woman comes and tells Kim that he will find everything that he is searching for, but in the process he'll lose so many things. The woman then disappears. So they go home and check her phone and find out that the fake nurse was secretly taking pictures of Kim and Anna. She even has pictures of Dasha. Kim suspects that they might target Dasha next. The trio then makes a plan to run away from the city and hide somewhere in the woods. Anna and Arkasha will first leave the city while Kim goes and gets Dasha with him. They even decide to keep in touch through phones. Kim then meets Dasha and asks her to come with him. She is hesitant at first, but he then shows her the pictures of her from the phone. He even tells her about the same line about risks. Suddenly some men come from the car and run towards them. They quickly run at the top of the building and sneak from a hidden staircase. They quickly take a train and manage to get away from the chasers. They decide to hide in the planetarium. Dasha then opens up about her past, and she tells him that she heard this risk phrase from her grandma. It was a very special phrase for her, as it was the last memory she has of a certain someone. This takes Kim by a storm. The person who he thought is Dasha is actually her granddaughter with the same name and face. He couldn't believe this turn of events and goes to a different room to take some fresh air. He finally remembers everything about all of his past and goes again to meet Dasha, who has fallen asleep. Kim then tries to explain the situation to her and his past, but it turns out to be a completely different person. The person then leaves from the place. He finally realizes that Dasha never existed. It's what he thinks. He quickly calls Anna and tells her that the Dasha was actually fake and she never existed. They ask him to meet at the closed facility. He somehow reaches the facility and waits for Anna and Arkasha. He then looks around and sees the graffiti from before. It's clearly written with big words, Kim. This shocks him and he sees that the chasers have arrived in the building. He quickly runs towards the terrace and chasers manage to corner him. Kim tries to ask them about their intentions, but they just stay silent. He has no option left than to end his life here, so he just jumps. He has flashbacks of the memories of his past. The time he spent with Dasha. It's as if his life is flashing before his eyes. Kim then wakes up in a hospital, and this time a real one. He's greeted by the government official and the Dr. Peter from before. He wonders what is exactly happening here, and they finally break the silence. So it turns out in the year 1960, when Kim's pod fell on Earth, it actually fell under an ice layer. It was a place inaccessible to humans at that time. His pod froze and even his entire body froze in the ice. After many years, an Eskimo found his pod and contacted the authorities. They kept him in fake faculty, and Nick Fury reveals to him that he has been asleep for 70 years. Yeah, it's similar to Captain America, the first Avengers plot. The doctors were shocked seeing all of Kim's internals were intact. They think his body created a special substance when he felt that adrenaline falling from space. This helped him to survive in this cryosleep. So for them, it was difficult to tell him that it's 2023 currently, as it might have impacted his brain. So they decided to place him in a closed facility until he can recover his strength.
Do you have a better plan?
No.
We're doing it.
They even gave him constant adrenaline doses to jog his memories. Now for Kim's further growth, they needed him to boost his own adrenaline. So they made a setup to make him feel like it's America so he can escape.
This is America.
They wanted him to face the constant fear of someone chasing, so his adrenaline level kept getting increased.
But why?
If they don't do this, his brain might not function properly after the cryosleep. They hired a movie director who made all the scenes feel real. From the nurse dying to every other scene was just fake and set to recover Kim. They even took help from Anna and Arkasha and asked them to play along with their plan. As for Dasha, she was real, but the director told her that she is working in a movie, and for her it was all just a movie scene. She was just purely acting, thinking she is shooting for a movie. They even made him believe that Dasha never existed. The falling from the building was the last push of adrenaline he needed to continue living normally. Kim asks Peter about what he should do next. He just smiles and tells him to live his life in his own way. They have already collected all the data and they free Kim from their medical attention. Few years go by and Dasha is shooting for another movie. Kim visits her and they talk for a while. They feel that connection between them and start dating. After a few years, Kim again calls Dasha and repeats the same line of risk and promises her this time that he will surely come back this time. He then takes off to complete the incomplete mission from the past. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the recap. Do like and subscribe for more recaps and we will see you in the next video. See ya!